And welcome. Today we will talk about sequencing problems. Let's see the definition. Sequencing refers to deciding the order or sequence in which the given jobs need to be performed on the given service facilities. Now there could be various types of sequencing problems. Today we will see type A, wherein we are going to see processing of n number of jobs through only two machines. So this could be more clear with an example. A book binder has one printing press and one binding machine. So there are two jobs basically, two machines. One machine is doing the printing, another is doing the binding. He receives a manuscript of 7 books. Find the optimal sequence of processing the books in order to minimize the total time required. So here the ultimate intention is to optimize the sequence so as to reduce the time for getting the books ready to be published. Also state total elapsed time for the printing and binding of the machines. Here the term total elapsed time is nothing but the actual time required to complete the in order to complete the given whole process. The data is given below. Now there are number of books of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is, these are nothing but n number of jobs. And there are two machines, like let's say this is M1 and this is M2. So this is nothing but one is doing printing and other is doing binding. So this is nothing but the time required. Let's say this is nothing in number of days. So we need to find out what is the actual time required to complete the printing and binding of the 7 books. So there are the 3 steps that we are going to follow. First is to find the optimal sequence for the given problem. So it's very easy. What we are going to do first, I'm going to write down this series once again. So order to I'll get the optimal sequence. It's I'll just draw the number of boxes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 is 7. So in order to find the optimal solutions, the first thing what we do have to do, whatever the entries coming from the machine A, that is this, let's say this is nothing but machine M1. So all the entries from the machine M1 should be on the left hand side, and all the entries coming from the machine 2, that is M2, should be on left hand side. This is rule number 1. Second, what we are going to do, we are going to identify the smallest number in this particular given problem. So which is the smallest number? That is, here is nothing but 15. So I'm going to first allot the 15 number first. Now you have to check whether this smallest number belongs to the machine M1 or M2. If it belongs to M2, we need to put the entries from the right hand side, and if it belongs to M1, then it should be written on the left hand side. So here in this case, what I find is that this is belongs to M1. So I'm going to write down this as, now let's say this is J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6 and J7. So this is nothing but my number of machines. So here this J6 belongs to M1. So I'll just write down here J6, and I'm going to eliminate this further. Next I have to find the next smallest element. So that is nothing but this 20 and this 20. So both will do. Friends, sometimes there could be multiple solution or multiple sequence for the given problem like this. Like there might be some people who might be selecting J4 first, or there might be some people who will select J1 first. So no matter whatever selection you made, the ultimate results will not going to hamper. So I'll select J4 here first. So what I'll do, since J4 is belonging to M1 machine, I'm going to write down on the left hand side. The next box I'm going to fill the information. This is again cut. Next smallest element is 20. Again this belongs to machine M1, so I'll just write down J1 here. Next smallest element is nothing but 50. Yes, 50. So 50 belongs to, I'll just circle it, and 50, it belongs to machine M2. So all the entries that belongs to machine M2 should be written on the right hand side. So I'll just write down here J7. Again this will be eliminated. Next smallest element is 60. Okay, again this belongs to machine M2, so I'll just write down J2 here. Okay, so what is left? I think these two values are left. One is J3 and one is J5. So next smallest element is 75. Again 75 belongs to machine M2, so I'll just write down here J3, and what is remaining? J5. So the optimal sequence that I got is J6 followed by J6 followed by J4 followed by J1 followed by J5 followed by J3 followed by J2 followed by J7. So this is the optimal sequence in order to complete the given task in the with a minimum time frame. So I'll just write down all the jobs in a new table. This is my step 2, wherein I have to draw a in and out table for the given problem. So this is nothing but jobs. This is for machine A, in and out time. This is for machine B, in and out time. Okay, so similarly I'll perform this. Okay, so I have drawn this table wherein I got all the jobs on the left hand side. Machine M1 in and out time, machine M2 in and out time. So the first sequence is J6. So I'm going to check for the J6 machine, and I'm going to check for the machine M1, that is all the entries in this first row. So I'm going to first check all the entries in the first row. So what is the in time? The in time is for J6 is the machine starts and the first job is completed at 15 days, since the printing for J6 job is 15. So machine has started at 0 time. The total time taken is 15. So I'll just write down 15 here. Now what is the rule? The rule is that here the conditions are very ideal, and the moment the first job is finished, the next job is immediately started. So this is one of the pre-assumptions for this kind of problem. So the next job will be immediately taken at the when the first job ends. So J4, to complete J4 we need 20 days. So 15 plus 20 is nothing but 35. So J4 job will be finished at 35 days. Again, as I said, the rule is that immediately the next job will be processed. So J1 is 20, so 35 plus 20 is nothing but 55. Next job will start at 55. So what I'm doing, the moment the previous job is finished, the next job starts at the exactly same time. If you can see, diagonally the time is same. So 55. Now J5 is 120. So 55 plus 120 is nothing but 175. So the next job will start at 175 plus J3 is 80. So 175 plus 80 is nothing but 255. So for J2 it is 90. So 255 plus 90 is 245. So 245, and J7 is nothing but 65. Is nothing but sorry, I am writing 255. This is 345. This is 410. So this is what we are going to do for machine M1. Now for machine M2, the another prerequisites of sequencing problem is that only one machine is processed at one time. So when the printing is happening, binding machine is idle. It is not processing any jobs or not handling any inputs. So it is not part of the process. The moment J6 finished its first job, M2 machine becomes active. So M2 machine will only active once the first job is finished. That is, M2 will be active after 15 days. So now let's see what is there for machine 2. So what are the entries for machine 2? So J6 entry for machine is 35. So 15 plus 35 is nothing but 50. Now another skill point is when the next job will be taken by machine M2. Since the first job of M1 is finished at 35 days and machine M2's first job is finished at 50 days, so we have to compare that which is the number is higher. We need to consider that, because till the time M1 is finished, M2 is finished, we cannot start with the next job. So 50, 35, so I'll just write down 50 here, because M2 cannot process the next job even though M1 has finished at 35 days, but M2 cannot finish start as immediately at 35 days, because the job will be finished at 50 days. So likewise, J4 30, so 50 plus 30 is nothing but 80. Similarly, again the next job for M2 will start at 80. J1 25, so 80 plus 25 is nothing but 105. 105, 175. Now here you need to understand, see, machine M2 has finished his job at 105 days, but machine M1 has not finished at 175 days. So till that time machine M2 will retain ideal. So the next job that is taken by M2 will only once M1 is finished. So here it will be 175. For a layman, we need to compare these two values, and whichever is higher we need to consider that. Here 175 is higher, so I am considering 175. Now next is J5. J5 is 90, so 175 plus 90 is 265. Again 265 and 255, so we have to consider the highest value, that is 265 plus J3 is nothing but 75. 265 plus 75 is 340. Again 340 and 345, highest value is 345, plus J2 is 60, so this will be 405. 405, 4010, so I will consider 4010, and J7 is 50, so this will 460. So this is what we have to do. Last column is remain is ideal time. This is nothing but ideal time for machine M2. Since M1 is processed first, there will be zero ideal time for machine M1. Ideal time for machine M2 can be find out like first job is taken at the 15 days. Next I'll just check diagonally. This is this is a layman process I'm telling you. So we need to find the difference and we need to write down the difference here. So this is ideal, no ideal time, so 105, 175, so difference is 70. Again here ideal, here the difference is 5, here the difference is 5. So these are the values that we need to calculate. So the table is ready. Now let me tell you, this value 460 is nothing but total elapsed time. I need to sum up this value. This will be 15 plus 70 and 5. This is nothing but 95. So what I get is total elapsed time is 460 days. Ideal time for printing, that printing machine is M1. So ideal time for printing is, just for your understanding, I'll just write down this is printing and this is binding. So ideal time for printing is 0, because all the time machine M1 is active first, and ideal time for binding is nothing but 95 days. So this is how we need to solve a sequencing problem with respect to processing of M jobs through two machines. Thank you so much for watching.